Yeah, you tuned into the right place. Welcome to the rain. Golden Queuing. H 2.0. Yeah. You're looking for a diamond, found a treasure in the rough. Tired of all the noise, cause you finally had enough. I'm here to build a movement on a mission for the nation. Dropping gems of knowledge, killing all the hesitation. We fighting for the truth, yeah, we fighting for what's right. Building unity and shining up a brand new light. It's a variety channel, but the vision's crystal clear. Pushing us all forward, conquering the doubt and fear.
Welcome to the Queendom, H 2.0 on your screen, where the content's real and smart and funny in between. This is more than just a stream, it's a platform for the change. Time to elevate the game and rearrange. If you're ready for a vibe that you can feel and trust, joining in the movement is a definite must.
This ain't just another channel talking smack behind the screen. It's a spotlight for the creators, building up a better scene. Spreading radical love, that's the message in the code. Helping everybody carry up a heavy load. From social justice issues to the laughter that we need. Planting seeds of progress, watch them grow from just a seed. This is authentic, this is raw, this is everything you saw. Welcome to the battle that is truly being fought.
Ooh, so come with your respect and see the real effect. Cause I protect my own right here on the throne. Don't make me me. Unleash the dragon.
Subscribe, ring that notification bell. Yeah, you don't wanna miss a thing. Welcome to the family. Yeah.
You're the Fed.
Funny, I don't see the credentials. Just a vulture at best. While watching work. You're playing agent, lurking in the digital shade, acting like the moral ice, checking papers you didn't make. Targeting the vulnerable, trying to deport them from the screen. But you're the only criminal in this little scene. You rate a private life like you got a signed decree, but you're just a parasite, thirsty for the fee. Stalking through the shadows, checking back, right, taking notes while you're choking on the bitterness that's rising in your throat. No jurisdiction, just a twisted little whim. Tearing down a life just to see if they can swim. You're policing the community. No, you're just the past, putting regular people to a fake-ass litmus test.
Check 'em.
Call yourselves a YouTuber. Dream you. You're just harassment on a leash. No badge, no rise. You're just a clown. No badge, no rise. I'll shut you down. You're playing nice, trying to clear the border, but you're the chaos, honey. I'm the law and order. Show me your history, show me your past. Build a digital wall, hope the view's gonna last. You're doxing the address, you're calling up the boss. A regular patriot, counting up the loss. But you got no authority, no push stick, no cell. Just a comment section version of a living hell. You're an unlicensed hunter with a fragile little ego, trying to play the hero as the warrant to me go. Tell me something. Where is it? It's becoming a mess. A bunch of vigilantes in a neon-lit dress. You're cleansing the platform, you're just spreading the stain. You're the ice of the internet, causing nothing but pain. Wait for it. You got no jurisdiction here! Call your sons the police. Keep dreaming. You're just harassment on a leash. No badge, no rights, you're just a clown. No badge, no rights, I'll shut you down. You're playing nice, trying to cross the border, but you're the chaos, honey. I'm the law and order. If that's the grace of your clothes. But the mirror
Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Golden. I'm back with another live today, y'all. We got a few things we got to get into. And y'all know it is a beautiful Monday morning. Hopefully, the weather and the temperature is really nice where y'all are at. It is where I am here in the United States, the Carolinas, okay? And it is about 12:40 p.m. here in the afternoon. And we're having an excellent day. Me, my mama, and my son JJ, and my doggies. We all are having an excellent day here, y'all. So I hope you guys are having an excellent day in whatever respectful time zone you're in, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, right? And the sun is shining bright. The weather is nice and warm and pretty outside. Child, we getting into spring. I'm loving every moment of it. I don't really like the cold weather like that no more. But anyway, I hope you all are having a beautiful Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. We made it to another week. God bless, because some of us did not get to wake up today. You know what I mean? So it's a lot going on out here in the world. It's a lot going on out here in life. But if we did get to wake up today, we should at least at minimum be grateful for that and be happy that we are here to live yet another day, start yet another week. But anyway, y'all, I got a few things that I was gonna get into on this live. As y'all can see in the title, it's called the Digital Wild West. That's what it seems like it's becoming to be, right? The Wild Wild West. Y'all watch that movie? I like that movie with Will Smith, The Wild Wild West. Child, that's an old one, but it's the good one. That's a good movie. Me and my mama, we like westerns. We watch westerns all the time, new ones, old school ones, whatever, right? We like westerns. But anyway, we're gonna get into a few things. I hope y'all like the intro song. That was one of the songs that I created. It's called YouTube Police. We got a lot of people out here that's moving and operating and attempting to be YouTube police for whatever reason they see fit. I can't see or understand why, but it is what it is. We got to deal with what we got to deal with on these platforms and these places and spaces. Let me go ahead and give a shout out to everybody that's here already. What's up, Imani? How you doing, girl? Thank you for joining me on the live. Hey, Polo, what's up, bro? How you doing? Thank you for joining me on the live. Marvelous Monday, everyone. Absolutely, absolutely. Marvelous Monday. And Imani, thank you so much for always dropping in, these copyrights and stuff for me and these disclaimers. Because, child, my bird brain self, I'll be forgetting to put them up. But yeah, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna be listening to a few things on this live. Let me give y'all a quick synopsis of what we'll be talking about, okay? So we're gonna be peeling back the curtain on something that has become far too common in this digital age, okay? The content creator wars. It seems like, yes, we know that we are at war, okay, when it comes to the world. There's World War III that's happening right now, but there's also these content creator wars that we have on social media platforms such as YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of the things, right? And so for too long, people have treated the internet like a lawless vacuum where they can just say or do anything under the guise of entertainment. But today, we're talking about the reality of the situations that we have been seeing play out. There is a very thin line between internet drama and criminal harassment. And many people are crossing that line without even realizing it sometimes, but also realizing it and just not caring. Um, the law is actually finally catching up to some of these people, and they may have not felt it yet, but it is on the way. Some of them have felt it already, and we will see exactly, how those things play out and how they go. But we will be talking about drama versus criminal harassment, right? So we got to get something straight here. Having a difference of opinion is civil. We're supposed to have difference of opinion, okay? As people, we all not going to see things the same way or view things the same way. We will have a difference of opinion and thought when it comes to things. But when someone begins a campaign of coordinated harassment, such as doxing or malicious communication, they have stepped out of the drama zone and they have stepped into the criminal zone. And legally, we are seeing a shift from simple defamation lawsuits to actual criminal prosecutions or cyber crimes. If you are using your platform to incite harm, you aren't just a creator anymore. You are now a liability. And when they say that you are a liability, believe heavily that you are a liability, because these said platforms will let you and allow you to do so much until they may have to X you out or cross you out. Because when you become a legal liability for a platform such as this, that means money is on the table, right? Lawsuits are on the table. And so, yeah, they're gonna move you up out the way, because businesses, they're not going to allow individuals that are liabilities and moving sloppily and doing all these type of things to remain in place, because it's going to cost them money and headache that they don't want to have. So at some point, those things will be addressed. Now, again and again and again, right? This is like the third time that I've had to bring this up, but I will continue to bring it up because these type of individuals, sometimes they don't get it the first and the second time that you say it. Sometimes it takes 3, 4, 5 times, but we will get into the global precedents, right? And so when I talk about the global precedents, let's talk about specifically individuals, or people that may reside in places such as Ireland or Scotland, right? Because we meet a lot of great people sometimes on these social media platforms from all over the big beautiful globe, and sometimes it's great connections that you make with these individuals, and sometimes with these individuals it's not so great, and we can't be sure why that is. That's up to that person, how they want to move, shake, and operate. Okay, but to understand where the world is going, we got to look at countries that are, seeming to be leading the charge on some of these things, like individuals from certain countries, such as Ireland, for example. We got to talk about different laws in these said countries, right? Because there's laws in these countries that are put into place to defend and protect people against these type of crimes. And we're talking about crimes that are cyber, right? Because this is social media, this is online, and a lot of these things are being done on these platforms, which are online. So that makes it a cyber crime, okay? But I, for the third time, am now going to bring up again Coco's Law, okay? The Harassment, Harmful Communications, and Related Offenses Act. The law is a game changer. It makes it a crime to distribute or even threaten to distribute private content, and specifically target those who send messages with the intent to cause serious harm via online. Similarly, in Scotland, the law is incredibly strict, very, very strict, regarding stalking and malicious communications. Under the Communications Act, if a message is deemed grossly offensive or a menacing character, it is a police matter, right? So it will be taken into the law. These foreign policies show us that the global community is no longer tolerating digital thuggery. Okay, are you a digital thug? Maybe you are, but there are laws in place that are no longer tolerating that, and have a little something to give to you if you want to move and operate that way. If you think that oceans, right? Because a lot of us are divided by, oceans, are, a protection from legal consequences, then, these people should be very sadly mistaken, because an ocean cannot protect you from a legal consequence if you are harming and harassing somebody that is across that said ocean and not in the same country that you are. International cooperation between law enforcement is at an all-time high. That is something that has been put into place over the past few years now. Now, one of the other important things that I wanted to talk about is torturous interference. And I don't know if a lot of people know what torturous interference is, but let's hone into it, okay? Now, this is something that every hater needs to understand. When these people or individuals that seem to be obsessed individuals move from talking about your content to attacking your brand deals, contacting your sponsors, or leaking your private family business to get you deplatformed, demonetized, shut down your moves and your shakes that you're trying to do in your business, they are committing a tort. That's the simple term. But this is, mainly known as torturous interference. And it happens when a third party intentionally damages someone else's contractual or business relationship. So a lot of these things that we're seeing, happening, people think that they're very slick, right? Because they're going to defame your character. They're going to talk crazy about you. They're going to deter people away from your platform and your channel. They're going to get platforms to not try to work with you, monetize you, all of those things, right? That's called torturous interference. You are interfering in business relations when it comes to people. And when it comes to being a content creator and having a channel, that is a form of a business. And when individuals are sitting up here, dragging you for filth, defaming you, striking your channel, getting your channel taken down, getting your monetization taken off of your channel, they're interfering in your business operations. So let's talk about the existence of a valid contract. If you have a brand deal or a partnership or a platform monetization agreement, this is something that these people can't interfere with, right? And we know that a lot of people have these shared experiences that dealing with individuals with this, nasty mindset, nasty pieces of work that they have interfered with people's brand deals, partnerships, or their platform monetization agreements, right? We also got to talk about the knowledge of the relationship. These harassers know that you have these deals and that you have these, accomplishments and things that you are working towards and that you are working within. And these are things that they don't want to see you have. They want to take it away from you, right? They want to see you suffer. They want to see you struggle. And so a lot of the time that gives them the gumption, to do the things that they do because they know that that can be the outcome. These type of things can be taken away from you, right? So then we got to talk about the intentional interference. They aren't just giving an opinion, right? Because everybody gets to have their opinion, but they are actively tagging your sponsors or spreading lies about you to get you fired, to get you demonetized, to get your channel taken down, to get people to not follow you or subscribe to your channel or rock with you. They're interfering in a business interaction, and that's actually a crime. Okay, so what is the actual damage? Well, you may lose the contract. You definitely probably losing the money or that professional opportunity that you work so hard towards getting. And in the creator world, your reputation is your contract, right? So how you show up, how you present yourself on your channel and you do your content, what you provide as content, that literally can be your contract sometimes when you are making deals or, connections with other individuals within the business sector. When someone weaponizes your personal life or your family's privacy to destroy your professional standing, like your YouTube channel, they are liable for every dollar that you lose. This isn't just a YouTube strike. This is a lawsuit for every cent of lost revenue. And I think people are starting to understand that a little bit. Maybe they are, maybe they're not, but you'll get it. And we do have a few audios that I'm going to play for y'all as well, to really bring it home. But I'm just reading through a few of these synopses for y'all. Now, let's just go ahead and put out this disclaimer that I am not a psychologist and I am not, a professional in any type of way when it comes to psychology. But I do read and I do research, and basically a lot of this stuff has a lot of psychological backing. So let's talk about the psychology of the obsessed, because we see that there are a lot of individuals out here that for whatever reason, and we can't be sure, seem to be very obsessed, right, with individuals. This leads us to the weird factor, right? Because individuals that move and operate like that, I know for me, I look at them, I be like, yo, these people are weird. I say that all the time. We all seen them. The people who seem to have a pathological obsession with certain creators, they go live for hours talking about people that they never met or they know nothing about. They do deep dives into people's personal business. And honestly, if you ask me, I think it's very odd. I think people that do that are weird. And I think that their actions are very odd. In psychology, this is often called parasocial delusion. They believe that they have a relationship or a right to someone's life that actually doesn't exist. Now, legally, we look for a pattern that's called, interestingly enough, it is called abbreviation FOUR. And that stands for behavior that is fixated, obsessive, unwanted, and repeated. When someone crosses that line, they aren't just trolling you anymore. They now are stalking you. And this is a mental health red flag. And it's also a legal red flag because we know stalking is a crime. And so we do see a lot of people kind of moving and operating in that way, right? So let's talk about the red line. Now, this is one of the big ones for me. When it comes to the red line, we're going to be talking about family and privacy. So for me, the most disgusting part of these content creator wars is when people bring in families, when they start talking about children, when they start exposing people personal addresses. And let me be very clear, even public figures have a reasonable expectation of privacy, such as rappers, actors, celebrities, regarding their home life and their relatives. There is a line that you should not cross when it comes to that. Attacking a creator's family is often the primary tool used for torturous interference. By creating a toxic environment around a creator's personal life, these individuals try to make the creator unmarketable, right? Make them look as bad as you possibly can. So then nobody wants to work with them. Nobody wants to partner with them. Nobody wants to give them a brand deal. They become, demonetized. Their channel is demonetized. You try to market, or you know what I'm saying? You try to push that their channel is a hate channel, or, some type of negativity around what it is that they're really trying to do, where you really interrupting their business and their bag. They are interfering with your ability to do business. In many jurisdictions, this isn't just a civil wrong, it is a form of criminal harassment. You are not exposing someone, you are committing a crime in real time for an audience. And see, one thing about the internet always wins, it never fails. And when we get out here and we say these things and we do these things and we make these type of pieces of content, right? Lives, pre-recorded videos, shorts, whatever it may be. Once you put that stuff out in the internet, it's always out there, right? And so what a lot of individuals don't realize is by doing that and moving and operating that way with those type of intents, that's always going to be out there. And so it will come back to you at some point in time, especially if people know how to fight against it in the proper legal way, which we're seeing a lot of people are doing as of today. Like as of now, people are fighting against this type of stuff legally because these are crimes that are being committed. So let's talk about fighting. How do we fight back? How do we fight these people? So number one, stop deleting. If you are someone who is being targeted, and a lot of y'all already know this and do this, don't delete the evidence. Save it all. Create a digital log of URLs, timestamps, and even screen recordings so you can have evidence and proof for your case. You can also proceed to cease and desist. A lot of people are connecting with legal representation. Have a lawyer send a formal notice. It serves as proof of notice. So they can never claim that you didn't know that they were causing harm. There's also injunctions. Courts can and will issue orders to stop people from mentioning your name or your family online. And platform and police. Report the crime to the platform, but also file a report with your local cyber crimes unit. The internet is not a lawless vacuum. Every live stream and every comment is a footprint leading straight to a courtroom. It's time we start taking action. Y'all, we got a few videos that I'm going to play that's going to give y'all a little bit more insight than what I can just read for y'all right now. Y'all let them talk about it and tell y'all about it, because you remember, don't take nobody's word for nothing. Do your own research and make sure that you have a reliable source that you're getting your information from, right? That's how we protect ourselves. But let's go ahead and get into this first audio. So this one I thought would be a good one to start off with, because this is the tortious interference. And this is legal elements, defense, and remedies. This is something that I believe is very important for a lot of content creators, right? Because we're on this platform, we're content creators. And a lot of us are making content and moving towards making content, not for no reason whatsoever. You know what I mean? We enjoy it. We want to connect with others. But also, yeah, it would be nice, you know what I mean, to get a piece of pie or a piece of cake or a slice of the dice, you know? And by me saying that, that means getting some bread out of it. You know what I mean? You're working hard, you're making this content, you're making this art, and, you know, you're out here entertaining the people and providing for the people, however it is you do it and you see fit to do it in a positive way. You would like to be compensated as well. And it seems like the negative people are the ones getting compensated, but the people with the positive content and the actual artistic content are the ones that are being suppressed. So we'll talk about torturous interference. Let's go ahead and listen to it, and I'm going to meet y'all in the chat. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I'll be right over there, okay?
Tortious interference is a complex legal concept that can have significant implications for businesses and individuals alike. This video will explore the key aspects of tortious interference, including its legal elements, defenses, and remedies. Tortious interference occurs when a third party wrongfully disrupts a contract or business relationship, causing financial harm. There are two main types of tortious interference. The first is interference with a contract, which happens when a third party intentionally causes one party to breach an existing contract. The second is interference with a business relationship, which involves improper interference in an established or prospective business relationship, even without a formal contract. For a tortious interference claim to be valid, several legal elements must be present. First, there must be a valid contract or business relationship. Second, the defendant must have knowledge of this relationship. Third, the defendant must have intended to interfere with the relationship. Fourth, actual interference must have occurred. Fifth, the interference must be deemed inappropriate or improper. Finally, the victims must have suffered damages as a result of the interference. Defendants accused of tortious interference have several potential defenses at their disposal. These include justification, where the defendant had a legitimate business reason for their actions, such as protecting a financial interest. Privilege is another defense, where certain forms of interference may be legally permissible if made in good faith or to protect a public interest. Lack of intent can also be a defense if the defendant was unaware of the contract or had no intention to disrupt the relationship. When tortious interference is proven, courts may award various types of damages. Compensatory damages reimburse the plaintiff for lost profits and other financial losses. In cases of extreme misconduct, punitive damages may be applied to punish wrongful behavior and deter similar actions in the future. Courts may also issue equitable relief, such as injunctions to prevent further interference. It's important to note that laws regarding tortious interference can vary by state. Some states have a higher threshold for evidence, while others give more rights to the defendant. For example, some jurisdictions recognize privileged interference if actions were taken in pursuit of a valid economic interest. Given these variations, consulting with a legal professional is crucial when dealing with tortious interference cases. In conclusion, tortious interference is a serious legal issue that can have significant economic consequences. Understanding its elements, defenses, and potential remedies is essential for businesses and individuals alike. By being aware of the legal landscape surrounding tortious interference, parties can better protect their interests and navigate potential disputes.
All right, y'all. So that was just an intro. Now, this is a multi-part, lesson for us when it comes to these torturous interferences. So that was part one. We're going to go ahead and move on to part two. Y'all give me just a second. I'm going to get that pulled up, okay? And we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Regina Campbell from the Campbell Law Group, and we're back here today for tip number 2 on tortious interference. Today we're going to talk a little bit about tortious interference with a business relationship, which is also known as tortious interference with an advantageous business relationship or an economic relationship. Don't let the name scare you. It sounds a little bit intimidating. It's actually fairly simple to understand, although most people are a little bit put off by what this is. Regina, what is tortious interference, and sounds so severe? It's particularly business relationship, tortious interference with business relationship is the existence of a relationship between two parties, particularly in this occasion, two business parties, and another third person coming in, known we can call as the defendant, comes in and knows about the relationship and intentionally looks to interfere and unjustifiably break apart the relationship or cause a breach in the relationship. For tortious interference, the 4 elements in which to prove this kind of cause of action is the existence of a business relationship, the defendant's knowledge of the relationship, and the defendant's unjustified interference with the relationship, coupled with one of the most important elements that is one of the hardest to prove is damages. The defendant's interference has to have caused the plaintiff's damages. So the defendant can actually interfere, but if it's not the cause of the plaintiff's damages, you do not have a cause for tortious interference with a business relationship. Very important to understand that. So hopefully these are helpful tips that you received from us today. Stay tuned to hear a little bit more about tortious interference with a contractual relationship.
All right, y'all. So let me go ahead and put up the next video here. Like I said, it's a multi-part, and they're not long parts. They're short parts.
Hi, this is Regina Campbell from the Campbell Law Group, and we're back here today to talk about the third part of our series on tortious interference. Today we're going to describe and talk a little bit about tortious interference with a contractual relationship. It's very similar to tortious interference with an economic relationship or an advantageous business relationship. However, as the name does imply, it does contain a contract. So in this particular cause of action, tortious interference is basically similar where you have a third party interfering in the contractual relationship of 2 other individuals. Usually it is a plaintiff that has a contract with a third party in which benefits them is for the company. And the defendant comes in and actually tries to cause a breach of that contract between the parties intentionally. So they cause the plaintiff to either lose a client or lose a vendor or just disrupt a relationship that normally.
All right, y'all. So I know it's a little muffled in the video. It's just the way that person had recorded that video. But if you are understanding what she's saying when we're talking about, these excuse me, y'all, these torturous interferences, right? We're talking about business, right? And then when it comes to business, you think about it. on YouTube, there is a possibility for YouTube to be a business for you. Your channel is a business, it is your brand, right? And so if you have a channel and you have a business, there is a third party that can come into the mix and try to basically uh, affect that said business that you have in place, right? And that is literally what we're talking about when it comes to, these torturous interferences. So somebody coming in, they dragging your character, they defaming your character, they're lying about you, they saying like, anything and everything under the sun to get people to not support you, to get people to be like, oh my God, I don't know if I should partner with that person, or I don't know if I should give a brand deal to that person because, these things that's being said about them, they're so terrible, oh God, is this true? Is this really what this person is about and what they do? That can cause people to try and pull away from doing business with you. Also, if they're constantly striking and reporting your channel to be a hate channel, or you're doing this and you're doing that, what is that going to do? That's going to alert the YouTube system that maybe your channel is a channel that they should not push in the algorithm. Maybe your channel is a channel that they should not monetize, right? So now that's taking business and money off of the table for you, because these people are out here telling lies on you and dragging you for filth and painting you out to be this terrible person or individual, right? And you have a whole business, which is your channel, right? That they are affecting now. They are affecting the growth and the progression of that said channel because of these lies and defamation and things of that nature that they are saying about you, your character, how you move, how you operate, even how, you run your channel. And so this can be something that can stand in the way of people being demonetized, where they no longer are able to make money from having a channel, regardless of the fact that they have enough subscribers, they have enough watch hours, and they're entertaining enough that people want to come and see them. But they have so many of these spiders and these snakes, right, that are out here claiming all of these things. Oh, this person does this person does that. Look at her background. Look what she did in the past. Boop, boop, boop. Pulling up all of these things about you and stuff and pushing that out there to make people look at it and say, you know what? I don't know if we really want to work or partner with this person. I don't know if we really want to push this individual's channel, because this doesn't really seem like a positive person, or a person that really can bring anything, to the platform that's not going to be a liability to us, right? Because that's the main thing when it comes to business. They want to make sure that you're not a liability, okay? But you have these individuals that are mean and evil and nasty. They'll try to paint that narrative that you could be possibly a liability to the platform, right? Because they want to say all of these nasty things about you. Lies, majority of the time. Go up and dig your past up and stuff, maybe mistakes you made when you was younger and things like that, which guess what? We all make mistakes when we're young. We all make poor choices and things like that when we're young. And we deal with them and we get through them. And as we grow up and we mature and we move through life, we move and we shake and we operate differently. But should we always have to be attached to our past mistakes and things that we went through in the past? No, that's not how life works and operates. And on a spiritual note, y'all, and I'm sorry to be this way, but y'all know this is how I am. On a spiritual note, God doesn't move and operate that way when it comes to us. We always can have forgiveness for things that we make mistakes on, that we do wrong or we don't get right the first time, right? And we can pray and we can ask for forgiveness. And guess what? God gives it to us. So who are these people, these YouTube police, these judges and these juries, these vigilantes that have now come out here to think that they can put judgment over you in your life and things that you possibly have been through or you may be going through? But also, like I said, when it comes to the business side of it and not just the emotional, side of it, it's torturous interference. This is a actual thing. This is what these people are doing. They're interfering with your bag. They're interfering with your coin. They're interfering with your business. And if you have a channel, right? And if you make content, right? You have a business and a brand, right? And these people are interfering with that. That is what that is called in a legal system. It's called tortious interference. A third party on the outside is trying to manipulate that and mess that up for you. And they sometimes are very successful in doing that, but it is a crime. Okay. So let's continue with this video. And like I said, y'all, the audio is not that great. I'm sorry about that. That's just the way these people recorded it. But they have some really great pertinent information that they are actually teaching us and telling us here today. So that's why I chose this segment of videos to play for y'all on this live. But this is serious. This is serious. If we're going to talk about legalities, if we're going to talk about serious things that are real in this world, in this life, in these platforms, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. And so you may got a case, basically.
Would have been gone forward but for the defendant's actions. So tortious interference with the contract is also a contractual relationship, is also very similar. You need basically, you need a contract, you need a defendant that knows of the contract, has knowledge of the contractual relationship, intentionally, not negligently, but intentionally actually looks to interfere with that relationship and that contractual relationship, causes a breach, and therefore causes damages to the plaintiff. Also, with this particular cause of action, it's very important that negligence interference is not enough to actually raise a cause of action or for it to be actionable. Also, pure competition will not be considered, an actionable offense either. It has to be intentionally interfering with information usually that the defendant has that he shouldn't have in order to interfere with and cause a breach in that contract. As with all tortious interference claims, and particularly business torts, the Achilles heel is always causation and damages, which is the hardest part of the case. And we are going to go a little bit further into that in the next two series.
All right, y'all. So hold on one second. Let me get into the next part here. Like I said, it's a multi-part, and a lot of these videos are short. So let me go ahead and play the next part for y'all so we can hear that in the audio. Here we go. All right. And I'll chat.
Hi, I'm Regina Campbell with the Campbell Law Group, and we're coming to you today to talk to you a little bit about Part 4 of the tortious interference series, specifically the element of causation. So previously, we've talked about the two different types of tortious interference that exist, which is tortious interference with a contractual relationship, and also we talked about tortious interference with an economic relationship, sometimes also known as an advantageous business relationship. Well, in those elements, part of what needs to occur, of course, is an interference or wrongful interference, as we've kind of talked about in the previous series. But more importantly, the wrongful interference or the wrongful behavior that led to the interference itself, it must be proven through substantial and competent evidence showing that this particular action by a defendant led to the actual interference of the contract or the economic relationship, and that is sort of the string that connects the two. So therefore, if you have a situation where causation exists, or it's just sort of supposition, he stole, or she or he stole the, my client list. I have evidence that they've been talking to the client. That should be enough for interference. And all of a sudden, my client stopped doing business with me, or decided not to enter the contract or terminate the contract. Therefore, it must be that they tortiously interfered. Well, it doesn't quite work that way. You have to be very clear and show competent evidence that specifically the person, knowing there's a contract or an economic relationship's existence, plus coupled with their action, is what led to the actual interference and eventually the damages, which we'll talk in the last series. So it has to be sort of not a complete a bullet, so to speak, from clear point A to point B, but it does need to be proven through substantial and competent evidence. So it's an element that's very often hard to actually prove, because a lot of times you have to prove that it's not another reason that this person may have stopped doing business with you or terminated the contract, such as potential pricing, provided that the pricing wasn't used, for instance, like a pricing war wasn't started with the person that interfered, the defendant that interfered, as a result of their ability to receive information through wrongful means. But say, for instance, the pricing no longer worked for them, or they were looking at moving on to their market, whatever have you, that will not be enough to actually prove causation. So something to keep in mind. And stay tuned for the final series, part 5, on damages. Thank you.
All right, y'all. So before we go ahead and get into part 5, I'm gonna go ahead and just read a few things through for y'all, okay? Because I did kind of want to tie this into, because I know some people may be listening to me like, oh, well, this sounds like it's more so, geared towards like the corporate world and other jobs and places and spaces like that. But no, it also actually applies to the digital economy as well. So in the digital economy, a creator's reputation is their primary currency. When third parties, such as stalkers, rival creators, or hate streamers, intentionally sabotage your professional relationships, they are actually committing tortious interference. This is a powerful legal tool used to hold people financially accountable for the wars that they start online. Now, there's 2 different main types. Let's talk about this when it comes to the content creation sector. In context of social media, there are 2 specific types of torts or civil wrongs that you can sue for. Tortious interference with contract. This occurs when you have a signed active deal, aka a brand sponsorship with maybe a tech company, or a harasser may cause that company to break that contract with you. Okay, so that's number 1. But then there's also tortious interference with prospective economic advantage. This one is more broader. It applies when you have a signed contract, yet, but you have a reasonable expectation of a deal, like a negotiation of some kind. And a harasser's actions can kill that deal before it even starts. You see what I'm saying? So you can already have something that's in place that you're doing as far as your business, your branding, your company, as far as social media, your TikTok channel, your YouTube channel, right? And this third party can come in and corrupt that, right? And get that taken away from you. There's also a position where it comes to tortious interference where you may have something that could be upcoming, right? That someone wants to work with you, or they want to give you a brand deal, or they want, to give you an opportunity, and they kind of jump or leap ahead of you and smear, your reputation and your name to where you don't even get that opportunity. You don't even get to sit at that table or have that conversation, right? To put together that business deal or that contract, because they have already now injected themselves in the mix and have, made it seem like you are someone that this person should not work with. So they can tear apart what you already have in construct already, or they can prevent you from future endeavors, right? When it comes to business, your brand, you know what I'm saying? All of those things. And so the 4 pillars of a lawsuit, okay? So in a case, you have to prove these 4 things. On social media, the evidence is often right there in the video archives. And that's what we keep telling these people. And we keep saying, the internet is undefeated. Okay. It never loses, because when you're putting videos and content and stuff like that out there, it's forever. Even if you erase it, even if you private it, whatever it is you feel as though you're doing, it never goes away. It's still out there. And trust me, legal professionals, they're so easy to, when it comes to getting that information back, those videos back, So you must be careful with that, okay? The evidence is often right there in the video archives. You don't even have to have that many receipts or documents and evidence to really prove your case when it comes to this, because a lot of the time these people are doing these things on their lives as their content. And so all you got to do is just refer back to that, forward that, let your legal representatives know where to find it, and they will. They'll dig it up, they'll find it, and now you got a case. You see what I'm saying? Now, the existence of a business relationship, you must show that you had a valid business expectation. A lot of people, it's too easy to show that. For a social media example, proving you have a consistent history of monetization, active brand deals, or a media kit, right? Showing your professional status, what you have been providing and what you've been creating over however long period of time that you've been a content creator, right? You're selling merchandise sometimes, right? That's part of your brand and your business, okay? You need proof of that. That's easy to show, you know. All you show is your transactions and whatnot with your merchandise, okay? A consistent history of monetization, that's easy. You go to your content creator studio, they paying you, you know, however often they pay you. Now, I'm not monetized. I've never been monetized. So I don't know exactly how it looks and how it works and how it operates, but I know people who have been monetized. It's the same thing as having a job. You even got to pay taxes and all these things, you know? And so you have those receipts and those records, right? That you at some point were a business that was in operation, that was getting paid, that was maybe selling merchandise or things of that nature, you know? That's your media kit. Showing your professional status. You are a professional. This is your business. This is how you move and you operate. Now, based off of what they say on YouTube, some channels will not be monetized if they see or they deem those channels not to be fit to be on the platform and getting paid, right? Because they might be hate channels, they might be troll channels, they may be negative channels, whatever the things may be. If a channel is none of those things, YouTube takes it to a certain system, right? As to where they are monitoring and studying your content to see if your content is professional, to see if your content is positive and something that they would like to promote and pay you for on their platform. And when they do that, they typically will approve you for monetization, right? And so all of these things are things that you can use, you know, within these lawsuits and these legal standings to prove that you actually have a brand and a company, you know what I'm saying, within your social media platform, within your channel, that has now been interrupted and disturbed based off of torturous interference. Now, the harasser's knowledge. The harasser has to know about the relationship, okay? This is why he's so damn nosy. So for a social media example, if a stalker says on their live stream, I know that such and such is sponsored by such and such, and we need to tell, and they're talking about the brand that you're sponsored by, such and such, who they are really working with. They have just handed you the knowledge evidence on a silver platter, right? Because they're trying to throw you under the bus. They are trying to get you demonetized. They are trying to stop your financial income and flow. You know what I'm saying? So this is what these hateful individuals and these stalkers do, right? They can make these type of statements. They can even go directly to the individuals that you are partnered with, that are, you know what I'm saying, you got sponsorships with, and tell them all of these nasty, terrible, dirty things about you that majority of the time are basically lies, right? And that gets these brands and stuff to be like, oh my God, you know, ooh, what is going on with this person? I don't know if that's going to be a good look for us to keep partnering with or keep working with this person. Or this what they got going on in their life. This is what they do. Maybe we don't want to work with them. You see what I'm saying? It's that easy, right? To get things taken off of the plate and the table for you because of these hateful ass people that go around and move and shake like this, you know? So then we have intentional and improper interference. This is the most important part, okay? You must prove that they use wrongful means. So wrongful means can include spreading known falsehoods, which is defamation, lies, lie after lie after lie after lie after lie, about you, your character, your business, your family, anything that they're saying is a mistruth. It's a lie. It's defamation, right? They also can speak on threats, intimidation, or coordinated harassment campaigns. Threats, intimidation, or coordinated harassment campaigns. Now, it's these not things that we've been seeing playing out and operating over and over again on this platform. People that are threatening other content creators, they're trying to intimidate them and scare them away, right? To make them give up or lose hope or feel defeated, right? And coordinated harassment campaigns. Now, when on a campaign is not just one person. A campaign is a group of people that's working for another said person to, get their agenda and their movement pushing. So harassment campaigns are groups of individuals that go out of their way to do this as a united front to take down another individual, a content creator, right? So they can, interfere and put a stop to their success on the platform, right? Now, another social media example, coordinated tagging of said sponsors, right? Could be a Twitter account without of context clips or lies specifically to get the creator dropped, right? So they can tag, different platforms that you may have. Say you don't only just work on YouTube, you also work on Twitter, you also work on TikTok, you also work on Instagram, you also work on Facebook, right? These people can slide around and fly around to get majority, or if not all of those accounts also affected in the same way. But they can use out of context clips. What is that? Clip a little piece of something that you said, tie it into a topic or a narrative of something that is not what your purpose for making that clip or speaking or talking about, that topic was about, but tie it to that, right? And make it seem negative, right? Tie it to a lie, tie it to a negative narrative, right? And this is how they can get you, hemmed up and make it look like that you are a negative content creator, that the content that you're making is negative. You're saying this, you're saying that, you're doing this, you're doing that. It's how they try to edit and put these things together. And then, editing is part of it as well. It's not even just about clipping bits and pieces of what you're saying and tying it to something else. These people go out of their way to edit. They will edit one part of this and one part of that and one part of this and one part of that until they come up with a false narrative of something that you said that you never said. This is where we're at with technology. This is how people use technology to, do these type of things to you. And so then we have to talk about the actual damages and the financial loss. Now, you cannot just sue because you're sad. And honestly, I understand people being sad, angry, mad, in their feelings and their emotions, because somebody taking food off of your table and money off of your plate, that's going to make you have those type of emotions. But this is what's the most important thing. Keep all of your receipts and your documents, because the proof that they're looking for is money lost. You have to prove to them that money has been lost because of these things that these people have been doing, right? To tear you down, to slow you down, to destroy you, to get your channel taken down away from you, to get you demonetized, all of the things, right? So here's the social media example. Providing a letter from a brand saying, we are terminating our partnership due to the recent controversy or emails we received. Or showing a document dropped in platform revenue directly following a doxing event. Okay. So these are things that you can hold on to, that you have gotten now a response from the people that you work for, that you work with, that are saying that they can no longer work with you, and they're telling you why, right? And a lot of times they will give you the exact details as to why that is. And for the most part, we are seeing that a lot of people, are coming across these hardships and stuff because there is defamation, There are these nasty pieces of work out here that are lying on people, telling false narratives and stories about someone's character, how they move and operate their channel and their business. And also they go into doxing, putting out your personal information, right? Pulling up your old past history and stuff like that, right? And so that's another way that they are using these things to weaponize against you when it comes to torturous interference. Now, common tactics that trigger a lawsuit. If you see these behaviors, you are likely looking at a torturous interference case. Now, there is sponsor tagging, explicitly tagging or emailing a creator's advertisers with the intent to starve them out financially. That's the way these people go about doing it. Also, review bombing, orchestrating a group of followers to leave a 1-star review on a creator's product, book, or course to destroy its marketability. Interference with platform status. And this is mainly for, this one really is hard for YouTube. Filing false mass reports or false copyright strikes to get a creator's channel demonetized or banned or shadow banned, right? This is what we see these people go out in mass amounts of groups and do, right? They are filing false mass reports on your channel, on your content, so you can get copyright strikes. And once you get these copyright strikes and they're in the YouTube system, that is going to slow down your progression of channel growth, meaning, your subscribers, the viewers that watch your channel and your content being pushed through the algorithm. And also, if you have been monetized, it can actually make you become demonetized, or they're not going to pay you no more. And then there's also family sabotage. Contacting a creator's spouse, employer, children, school, just to create a toxic atmosphere that forces the creator to be stressed out enough that they stop working. You see these tactics and how they work? This is exactly what we see playing out, like in real time. This is what these people are doing. This is how they are trying to attack people, right? Content creators. And so I wanted to bring this to the forefront today and talk about it because this is literally what is happening. If we pay close attention to it, this is literally what is happening. You can't deny it. You can't deny that this is what's happening. What's up, V-Love? Thank you for coming in. Sorry, y'all. I'm going back to the chat now. Y'all know how I am. I just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. But thank y'all for coming in. I really appreciate it. Hello, Blueberry. Thank you for coming in, Blueberry. I appreciate that. Tanika is here as well. And then Star says, yeah, if we are building a brand, defamation is a problem. Absolutely. Absolutely is. And these things are crimes. These things are crimes. And this is why I'm digging this up, on the legal side of things, because I think we need to know how to combat against this type of stuff that people are doing. Also, spreading the information to people who don't even know them. Exactly. Sending a CC information to dox somebody because they're a CC's girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? It's not funny at all. It really isn't. But this is what these people do. You know what I'm saying? These are the movements and the operations that these people are making. I hope these people understand. And yes, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Exactly. People are, they don't care. They do not care how someone feels. They don't care, and it's people's personal business. Maybe they have issues, with anxiety and things like that, other health conditions and things of that nature. They're going out of their way to do things that's going to make people be not in their best state, physically or mentally. You know what I mean? Weren't they emailing somebody's girlfriend because her name was on the PayPal? Exactly. And yep. They're gonna get what's coming to them. These people just trust it. Wait for it. It's about to happen. It's all about to blow up in their face. Now, when it comes to torturous interference, why is this better than a defamation suit? Well, many creators try to sue for defamation, libel, slander, but torturous interference is often more effective because, number one, you have a direct financial link. Defamation is about, sometimes they like to say, hurt feelings or reputation, which is kind of hard to put a price on. But torturous interference is about lost contracts, which have a specific dollar amount. Therefore, you can sue for a specific dollar amount. Intent is easier to prove. In content creator wars, the harasser often brags about wanting to end the other person's career. This proves malice and intent instantly, right? So you can tie all of those things into a torturous interference case. Now, the defense, the justification, or said loophole. Now, if a creator is actually committing a crime and someone reports it to a sponsor, that might be seen as truthful reporting. But the counter to that is, however, if the harasser is using lies, dox information, or out of context clips, the justification defense fails. Like, you can't justify those things if none of that holds to be true, right? Despite all of the hoops that you jump through and all of the things that you try to do to destroy this person, tear this person down, once it gets to the court system and they review through all of it, that defense can actually fail. So how to build your case? The battle log. Number one, if you are planning to speak on, these type of things, don't do it. Don't say nothing. Keep it to yourself. What you need to do is screenshots, right, of the call to action. Make sure you're taking screenshots. Save the moment that the harasser is telling their audience to contact your sponsors or to defame you, to drag you, tell lies about you, whatever it is that they're doing to tarnish your brand, your company, and your momentum. Keep record of that. Email correspondence. Keep all termination emails, right, from any brands that you may have worked with. So if you have, say, a partnership or you have a brand deal with somebody and now they're like, we can't work with you anymore, these things have come out, but whatever that reason is for letting you go or dropping you, save all of that as well, because when you go to do your case, you can show that because of these nasty people and their nasty piece of work, energy that they have been giving to destroy you, that has caused you now to lose brand deals, business deals, and connections with other individuals. That's all proof of that. And then the before and after analytics. Keep records of your income before the harassment started, and also compare that to after the harassment started, because that can show a fluctuation of the difference of the money you were making before these people started to try to drag you for filth and claim and deem you to be a bad person. And then it shows where you are after they started doing that to you and how your money and your income has been affected and has dropped, So you keep all of these receipts, right, for proof. So when it's time to do, like I said, y'all legal dance, you have all of these things to prove that this has, in a negative way affected your business, your company, your brand. And then there's also things that you also can, hold on to as well, because it may, for some people, not always be about their business, their company, their brand. It might be about their mental health, their stability, and their emotions. And we know that also legally, you can sue for emotional distress. And so a lot of individuals are out here bullying and harassing people, and it's causing them to have a lot of emotional distress. Well, that's something you can also legally go after in court and sue for. So torturous interference is essentially business sabotage. On social media, your channel is basically your storefront. When someone tries to burn down your storefront by lying to your partners, your sponsors, or attacking your family's livelihood, they aren't just trolling you. They are incurring a massive legal debt that you can be collected. I'm sorry, that you can go back and collect in the court of law. So I just wanted y'all to know that, that is something that I think is very serious and very important, because there are ways to maneuver and go about dealing with, this type of harassment and abuse that we see here on these social media platforms, right? And a lot of times you just feel like, you give up, like you feel like they got the best of you. But no, they don't necessarily have to get the best of you. You still can fight back. There's still more options, that you have out there to reclaim and redeem what has been taken from you. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I wanted to just go ahead and point that out first. And that was our first topic that we were talking about. Now, the second thing that I'm going to talk about after we take a quick song break is just some information, for you, as far as if you are been someone, or that a lot of this is happening, what to do if you become a victim of doxing, right? So we're going to get into that video in just a moment after this song break. And I will check y'all comments in the chat or whatnot while we listen to this song. But that's my puppy, y'all. I'm going to check the comments and stuff while we listening to this song break. And then after we come back from this song break, we're going to get into this next video. What to do if you become a victim of doxing. And we know there's a lot of that going around, right? So I wanted to just come share a little bit of that information with y'all as well. Let me go ahead and play this song and we will be right back. Thank y'all so much for all your love and support and joining me on this live. I really appreciate it. I'll be right back, y'all. I'm going to meet y'all in the chat while I play this song.
In the shadows, yeah, they loving the tea. But while they focused on my name, I'm focused on the G's. They out here building tall tales, hoping one of them sticks. I'm out here building empires, brick by heavy brick. Got your nose in my business like you're looking for gold. But the only thing you're finding is the lies that you sold. It's a sickness, it's disgusting how you live for the drama. Better watch how you speak, cause I don't deal with the trauma. That cash money bullshit, keep it over there. We don't breathe that toxic rhythm, we don't need that air. If you're talking out your neck, better watch your tone. Cause we addressing every lie till the truth is known. Yeah, we see you, we don't hear you, keep it moving along. We just turn the hate to fuel and we put it in a song. Disgusting habits trying to tarnish what you didn't create. You're at the table begging snacks while I'm filling the plate. I'm tired of the fakes and the he said, she said. While you're counting my moves, I'm 3 steps ahead. They post every comment, yeah, we see the obsession. You're looking for a flaw, but you'll find a lesson. We ain't listening to rumors, we don't play in the dirt. But don't think for a second that your words don't get hurt. Address the facts, stop the cap, keep that same energy when the lights come on. Come on. We tired of the lies. Get your nose out my life. That cash money bullshit, keep it over there. We don't breathe that toxic rhythm, we don't need that air. If you're talking out your neck, better watch your tone. Cause we addressing every lie till the truth is known. Yeah, we see you, we don't hear you, keep it moving along. We just turn the hate to fuel and we put it in a song. Yeah, we turn evil little shit. Yeah, we turn that off. But then we straight at the G. the shadows, yeah, they loving the tea. But while they focused on my name, I'm focused on the G's. They out here building tall tales, hoping one of them sticks. I'm out here building empires, brick by heavy brick. Got your nose in my business like you're looking for gold, but the only thing you're finding is the lies that you sold. It's a sickness, it's disgusting how you live for the drama. Better watch how you speak, cause I don't deal with the trauma. That cash money bullshit, keep it over there. We don't breathe that toxic rhythm, we don't need that air. If you're talking out your neck, better watch your tone, cause we addressing every lie till the truth is known. Yeah, we see you, we don't hear you, keep it moving along. We just turn the hate to fuel and we put it in a song. Disgusting habits trying to tarnish what you didn't create. You're at the table begging snacks while I'm filling the plate. I'm tired of the fakes and the he said, she said. While you're counting my moves, I'm 3 steps ahead. They post every comment, yeah, we see the obsession. You're looking for a flaw, but you'll find a lesson. We ain't listening to rumors, we don't play in the dirt. But don't think for a second that your words don't get hurt. Address the facts, stop the cap, keep that same energy when the lights come on. Come on. We tired of the lies. Get your nose out my life. That cash money bullshit, keep it over there. We don't breathe that toxic rhythm, we don't need that air. If you're talking out your neck, better watch your tone, cause we addressing every lie till the truth is known. Yeah, we see you, we don't hear you, keep it moving along. We just turn the hate to fuel and we put it in a song. Yeah, we turn evil little shit. Yeah, we turn that off. But then we straight at the G.
All right, y'all. Thanks for rocking with me with that song break right there. I hope y'all like that song. I was saying in the chat, I don't know, if any of y'all is gamers or anything like that, but I used to play this game, Grand Theft Auto, the San Andreas version, which basically they was like in the West Coast. And when I listen to that song, it's definitely West Coast vibes. So it's just like it reminds me of playing that video game. But anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and move right along. So we're gonna get into the next topic for the live today. And so let me go ahead and pull this down because this is one we're gonna watch because there is a diagram up here for us to see. So give me just a second. Let me take this down. Okay. All right. And so on this one, this is basically, information or whatnot as far as what to do if you have been, a victim of doxing or if you have been doxed. So let's go ahead and get into this video and we'll talk about it amongst each other in the chat.
What to do if you become a victim of doxing? What can you do if it's too late and your private data has already been published and exposed? Where can you get help? And how can you prevent further leaks of data and information? This lesson gives answers to these questions. What to do if you become a victim of doxing? Report it. Contact the platforms. If you have fallen victim to doxing, you can try to contact the moderators of the website where your data was leaked or flag the post with your data on the social network to have it removed before the information spreads. Doxing typically violates the community guidelines of most mainstream websites and platforms. Document it. Be sure to take screenshots of all posts, messages, or websites related to the doxing incident to submit with your report. The goal is to make it easy for the site moderators to quickly understand what has happened and address it. It is also a good idea to create a timeline of events by documenting what happened and when. When victims are targeted online, events can move quickly, and it can be difficult to accurately piece together everything that occurred. Feel free to ask someone in your support network to help you organize everything and write it all down. This evidence may also be useful when reporting to law enforcement or seeking protection through the courts. Do not be afraid to resubmit your report more than once or quickly inquire about the status of your report if you do not hear back or no action is taken. Lock down your accounts. In the event you have been targeted, it is a good idea to set your account or accounts to private. Update your passwords. Enable two-factor authentication. Verify your contact information, and remove any trusted devices you do not recognize. Enlist friends or family members for support. Do not be afraid to ask for help. No one should go through this alone, and doxing is never the victim's fault. There can be a lot of ground to cover when addressing the fallout from a doxing attack, and enlisting your support network is beneficial for both mitigating the harm and providing emotional support. Note that usually the goal of doxers is to cause the victim harm and psychological distress. This is also one of the most dangerous aspects of doxing, and it can ultimately lead to severe consequences. Try not to engage with trolls. This may be what they want. And seek comfort with your friends, relatives, and community. An online mob may move on if you ignore them and do not give them additional reasons to attack you. Involve law enforcement. If you receive threats or fear for your physical safety, you may want to contact law enforcement. In this case, remember to document what is going on. For example, screenshot the threats to provide law enforcement officers with additional evidence. Remember, doxing is a relatively new term and form of abuse. Law enforcement may be unfamiliar with the term doxing, or there may not be laws in your jurisdiction to address it. Don't be discouraged. The best way to navigate this is to describe what has occurred. Instead of saying you've been doxed, explain that someone has published personally identifiable information about you on the internet without your permission and has revealed your name, address, and other information that can be and often is used for cyberbullying, cyberstalking, harassment, or other types of harm. Where can you get help? If you or someone you know is concerned about doxing, contact your local authorities or NGOs working in the field of digital rights and safety. They can help you with advocacy, minimizing the consequences, and psychological recovery. Again, you may have to explain doxing to the organization where you are seeking assistance. Don't let this discourage you. These organizations can offer many services that can address the harm and start the recovery process. What measures should be taken to return online safely? There is no one-size-fits-all solution for doxing victims to return safely to their online lives. First off, it is important to set realistic expectations about online safety. This starts with understanding that the best we can do is make ourselves as safe as possible. Remember, there's no way to exist online and remain 100% safe. Even Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey had his Twitter account hacked. The best thing you can do is be careful when sharing your information and making your accounts as secure as possible. In our next lesson, we will give you some recommendations that can help you not become a victim of doxing.
All right, y'all. So I just wanted to share that little video. It's just a little quick, short one with y'all when it comes to this doxing, because this is something that, we all are hearing about way too often, especially here in the current landscape of YouTube and the YouTube wars. Doxing is starting to become normalized as if it's just part of the game. It isn't. Doxing is the intentional act of publishing people's private information, identifying information about an individual with the goal of inciting harassment, fear, or financial ruin. So let's talk about it a little bit. The broad definition, okay? Let's be very clear. Doxing is not just about an address. Many people think doxing is just leaking an address. Legally, and a platform-wise, is much broader on places here like YouTube. Doxing includes private contact information, personal phone numbers, private email addresses or IP addresses, financial details, credit reports, bank account info or tax records, professional data, the address of your employer, your spouse's workplace, or your children's school, identity documents, social security numbers, passport photos, or birth certificates. Why does it seem like it feels like it's just nothing on YouTube? The reason doxing happens so frequently on YouTube is a failure of enforcement, not a lack of rules. The news loophole. Harassers often hide behind the claim that they are reporting or documenting a creator's bad behavior. Yeah, okay. Then we have the breadcrumb method. Smart harassers don't leak the full address at once. They leak a street, then maybe a photo of the house, then the workplace, creating a slow burn. Docs that builds a culture of fear. And so, what is the result? Because YouTube is slow to ban these accounts and these individuals that do these type of things, people think it's legal and that it's okay, but it's not. So, what is the legal reality? Let's talk about the criminal versus the civil. When you are doxxed, you aren't just looking at terms of service violations. You are looking at several legal categories. Okay, we're going to get into them. Number one, the criminal side, harassment and stalking. In jurisdictions, and we can be specific, right? Because there is one major area or individual that is in an area, that I've had some words towards. And so I'll use that as an example. But in jurisdictions like Ireland, right, there is Coco's law. And in Scotland, doxing is categorized as malicious communication or stalking. If the intent of the dox is to cause distress or alarm, it is a criminal offense. If a dox leads to a swatting incident, calling the police to a home, it can be prosecuted as a felony or a life endangering crime. Now let's talk about the civil side. When it comes to privacy torts, you can sue a doxer for number one, public disclosure of private facts. Even if the information may possibly be true, it is private and it's not a matter of legitimate public concern. Publishing it is a tort. Intrusion upon seclusion. Legally, everyone has a right to be left alone in their private life. This is a part of the law and a part of our rights. Now, the link to torturous interference when it comes to doxing. This is where doxing becomes a business weapon. A business weapon. Doxing is almost always the first step that most people or harassers use when it comes to torturous interference. Harassers dox your workplace or your spouse's job so they can call your boss, tell lies to get you fired, tag your sponsors with your private history to make you look like a liability, encourage physical stalking, which forces you to stop going live or making content, effectively, dismantling your business. Now, here's the public figure myth. One of the biggest lies on social media is you're a public figure, so you have no privacy. Here are the facts. While public figures have a higher bar for defamation, they have the exact same rights to be safe in their homes and keep their children's schools locations private, just like any other citizen. Being a YouTuber does not give someone the right to broadcast your tax returns or your parents' home addresses. So how do you really think about all of these things, right? How do we summarize all of this? Let's talk about the normalized evil of doxing. On this platform, people act like leaking an address or a phone number is just part of the drama, but it isn't. It is digital equivalent of drawing a target on someone's back and handing out weapons for everyone to use. When you dox someone, you aren't exposing them. You are engaging in cyber stalking. You are telling the world that this person's safety doesn't matter. And for those of you who are watching and listening, these dox streams that we've been seeing, understand this. The person doing the leaking is creating a permanent digital record of their own criminal intent. So that's the thing when it comes to these individuals, right? They want to go out of their way to commit these heinous crimes and do mean, nasty work, evil type things to people. When you do those said things, you doing it is being recorded as well. So you're actually recording your own criminal record and your own criminal intent by the things that you do. That's what you don't understand. So you're going out of your way to hurt and harm someone else. But while doing that, especially if you're doing it on lives, especially if you're boasting and bragging about what you do and how you do it and how you get away with it, you are putting a digital record of the crimes that you're committing in place for professionals such as lawyers, police officers, PIs, you name it, FBI agents, whoever, to see that these are the things that you actually have gone out of your way to do to hurt, harm, and harass someone. So you're leaving a digital footprint of all of your crimes because you're doing this stuff digitally and on the internet. That's what these people don't understand. If you use doc information to contact a creator's family or their sponsors, you have entered the realm, like we talked about earlier, of torturous interference. I want y'all to remember that. Okay? I want y'all to remember that. That is the importance of this live today. If we don't take anything else from this live today, if anybody needs to fight back legally against the things that have happened to them or that is happening to them legally, right, on this platform or illegally on this platform, I want y'all to remember this: torturous interference, especially if you are a content creator on any platform. It could be here on YouTube, it could be TikTok, wherever it is, right? That you have a business, a brand, a company, a name, anything. Torturous interference. Y'all keep that in your mind. You are now legally liable for the financial destruction of that person's life. We need to stop treating doxing like it's nothing and start treating it like it is a criminal weapon, because that is exactly what it is. So what is the protocol, right? If you are doxed, and we heard a little bit of this in the prior video that I showed y'all, but if you are doxed, do not acknowledge it, on a live stream or anything like that. Because typically these doxers and these harassers and individuals, they want a reaction out of you. They want you to see something. They want to see you shaking in your boots. They want to see you upset and, freaked out because this is what they've done to you. Don't give it to them, right? Don't give it to them. The acknowledgement validates that information that they put out also could be correct about you too. You know what I'm saying? So always leave them guessing. They can dox, they can put out certain, pieces of information about you. Never let them know that they got it right. That's basically what the cheat sheet says. You know what I mean? Never let them know that they got it right, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for the confirmation that they really did get the right information and they really are putting this pertinent information out about you and your life and your family and all these things. When we get upset, when we respond, when we say something, it kind of lets that person know, like, I got them. I was right. Boo, 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 all of the bullshit. This is how these people work. Okay? Narcissistic, sick ass people. Let's just be very clear about that. Again, you must make sure that you archive everything. So you got to save the VODs, you got to save the comments, you got to save the timestamps, you got to take screenshots. You have to have your receipts and your evidence in place, because it's going to help make a more solid case when you go the legal route. Now, you can also file a privacy complaint. Use YouTube's specific privacy complaint tool immediately. It is handled differently than a standard report, right? So like when you're reporting things on YouTube, you know how you report like abuse, you can report harassment, you can report like nasty work, things of that nature. You also can report a privacy complaint. That's what YouTube says is in the place when it comes to, these protections that they have on the platform. I'm questionable about that, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. This is the one that I like, the police report. So if your home address is leaked, file a report for harassment or stalking to create a paper trail in case there's swatting that starts to become attempted on you, right? Because a lot of times these individuals or sick individuals, they don't give up. They just take it up a notch higher, right? And so the next thing they're going to try to do is probably move on to swatting, right? After the doxing and after the address is confirmed and known and all of these things, then now they may try to put you in even more harm by having you swatted, right? So sending people to your home like CPS, sending police officers to your home, sending thugs to your home, right? To hurt and harm you and your family, capture you, all of the things. And I know y'all probably think like, oh my God, you talking crazy. No, these people are crazy. And I'm telling y'all, this is what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I have seen and bear witness to how bad it can really get when these individuals are moving and operating like this. These are the things they literally will do. They will try and get you hemmed up. They will send people to your house. They have done it to many CCs. They have done it on this platform to many people. We've seen the proof of that. We've been in the chats and on the channels of individuals have experienced this. And this is what these people are doing. They're getting away with it, right? But there are legal ways we can fight against it. And so that's just what I wanted to bring forth here to y'all today on the live. You know what I'm saying? So we can have this open conversation like, yo, we're not about to tolerate this. Now we can get legal with it, we can get street with it, we can get however that you want to get with it. But what I'm telling you, you're not gonna get is away with it. Period. That's it. Like I don't know what allows these people to think that they have the jurisdiction to do this type of stuff. Who are you? Who sent you? Where do you come from? Who do you think you are? That you can do these type of things to people and get away with. It's not right. It's nasty work. It's very nasty work, right? And it should never come to this. It should never come to this level. It should never come to, this point. Okay. Even if you got a rival or something like that, when it comes to social media and stuff, I don't understand why you would, because it's enough power to go around and it's enough money to go around and space for everybody to have a place, right? I always choose to believe that. So why are we fighting for a space? The spaces are there. Just pick one. Make sure you fit into the right one that serves you, and boop, 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 you're good to go. But haters and hateful people, they're the ones that come along and they don't like the fact that you're sitting in the seat that you're sitting in, right? And they'll try to find any way to get you up out that seat, period. And then when they sit in it, they can't even sit in it the same way you do. Like it's all of that type of dumbass bullshit. But yeah, Tanika said, leave people alone for real. And stars that they can't. Yeah. It's a sickness. It really is a sickness, And I have some other psychological videos and stuff as well. I just try to be real careful with that because, like I said, I am not a professional. I am not a psychologist. If I can find an actual psychologist that's talking about these things to present that content, you know what I'm saying, on my channel, then I'll allow them to do it because they're the one who have the license. They're the one who know. They're the one who study these things and do it as a profession, right? So I will pass along their talking points, you know what I mean, and their content when it comes to them talking about, the psychological aspect of all of this. But I try to be very careful with what I might read and say on my own accord because I don't never claim to be no psychologist or, you know what I'm saying? Like be able to break certain things down. I listen to these things. So when I see them and I experience them, it's just like, interesting. You know what I mean? Like I can kind of tie it into something that I've heard a professional speaking about, but I'm not the professional to speak on it, if that makes sense to y'all. So I like to find, maybe if it's any type of content or videos I can bring y'all where an actual professional is speaking on it. So that way it's not on me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not diagnosing nobody. I'm not saying these things. But if the shoe fit, then sometimes you just gotta wear it. You know what I'm saying? Kirsty David. Hey, what's up, Kirsty David? How you doing? Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming in. I really appreciate that. I really, really do. And we got Polo, we got Star, we got Tanika, we got Imani. Let me see. I hope I didn't miss anybody else. Earlier we had V Love was in the building. Who else? Blueberry. Blueberry Street was in here. Yeah, I think that was everybody that came in. So thank y'all so much. I really do appreciate the love and the support. Thank y'all for joining me. And I just hope that the information is entertaining, but also educational to you. You know what I mean? So I hope I'm giving something, something that's worth something. You know what I mean? So we're going to take a quick song break. After this song break, we're going to go ahead and get into our final videos and talking points for the live. And this is more of a specific one, but it is wrapped around a lot of legalities or whatnot. But, there's certain individuals from certain areas, right? Not in this country. And so I did look up some certain things when it comes to those areas, because I was just like, yo, these individuals think that, because we're not from the same country, we're not supposed to know the law. We're not supposed to know how to utilize the law. We're not supposed to know how to combat, you know what I'm saying, in certain things, because you live in another country. You think hands is off. You can just do whatever you want to do and say whatever you want to say. No. You are, dearly mistaken. And so, yeah, we'll be getting into some videos and some explanations with audio outside of me reading, y'all, because, when I read, it's a little boring, of Coco's Law. And Coco's Law is something that is very prominent in Ireland. And so we'll get into that in just a moment, just to bring it on home here, But let's go ahead and take a quick song break before we get into that. And then I will talk to y'all in just a moment, and we will hear a little bit about Coco's Law. So we'll be right back.
Heard the kitchen's getting hot. Thought you had the recipe, huh? Let's see what's on the menu tonight.
It's you. Built a castle out of clicks, a palace out of lies. Sold them on a fantasy behind your curated eyes. Ring light halo couldn't hide the darkness in your soul. Played the victim for the views, yeah, you really played the role. Post-perfection, filtered life, a manufactured dream. While behind the screen you ran a whole corrupted scheme. DMs full of poison promises you never keep. All your dirty little secrets were buried 6 feet deep. Now the internet's forever, every single keystroke saved. And the bridges that you burned, all the roads that justice paved. You were smiling for the camera, cashing every check. Never thought you'd have to pay the piper with your neck. Yeah, yo, cook, looking shook, it's all over now. Karma's the chef and bitch, she's serving up the chow. Your views are falling, sponsors calling, pulling up a break. Your whole career is just a sad forgotten hashtag. Yeah, yo, cook, well and done, served up on a plate. You can't delete the truth, can't apologize to fate. Cause karma is a bitch with a 5-star review. And tonight the main course on the menu, girl, is you. Remember all the little people that you stepped on climbing up. Every back you stabbed a drink from that polluted cup. Well, they all got together, started talking, spilling tea. And the receipts are longer than a damn CVS flea. That teary-eyed apology, girl, we ain't buying it. Your PR team is scrambling, but there's no denying it. The screenshots tell the story that your caption tried to hide. There's nowhere left to run when the truth is on the side of every single person that you scanned and that you played. Your loyal followers are gone, your perfect word decayed. From a throne made out of hashtags to a memory that's tragic. Your 15 minutes faded, it wasn't ever magic. Yeah, yo, cook, looking shook, it's all over now. Karma's the chef and bitch, she's serving up the chow. Your views are falling, sponsors calling, pulling up a brand. Your whole career is just a sad forgotten hashtag. Yeah, yo, cook, well and done, served up on the plate. You can't delete the truth, can't apologize to fate. Cause karma is a bitch with a 5-star review. And tonight the main course on her menu, girl, is you. See, the thing about a pedestal, it gets a little high. Makes the fall that much harder when you plummet from the sky. You look too close to the sun on wings of fraud and greed. And now you're crashing down to earth, planting a bad seed. You played a dirty game, cause you never get the blame. Karma's got a lonely mood, she knows you're falling. It's over. The timer went off. You set the heat to now you burn. Karma's a bitch. Bon appetit.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this final video. I was just reading through y'all comments while I was listening to the song. I'm glad y'all like the song. It seemed like y'all liked it a little bit. I hope y'all like it. I'll be making a lot of songs and stuff over here, y'all. So y'all know I need me a bop. I gotta have something to jam to. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's go ahead now and get into this video. So remember, I was just telling y'all about Coco's Law, right? So Coco's Law is a law that is predominantly like in the Ireland area. And so I wanted to go ahead and play a little bit of that for y'all so we can know that, you know, sometimes when it comes to some of these individuals, like they try to harass and commit crimes and stuff abroad, right? Like overseas, and think that, you know, I guess we either not going to know or we can't combat against them because they way over there, we way over here, right? But that's actually not the truth. When it comes to a lot of these crimes that are being committed, and a lot of these are cyber crimes as well. So that also puts in a big wrench when it comes to these individuals, because you are a foreign person, but you're operating on a American or a U.S. platform, right? And so that therefore ties you sometimes to the country. But even outside of that, there's still ways that you can, you know, cross render legalities when it comes to crimes being committed, especially cyber crimes, right? Cyber crimes is one of the easiest things that you can actually you can cross, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to like the reach, because it's the internet. Everybody has the internet, everybody's connected on the internet. And especially, like I said, when it comes to platforms that are based on a certain country, you can sign up, and some of these people sign up, you know, under said platform based off of their actual location. But because these people choose to be, you know, slithering snakes and worms, they don't want really people to know where they're located. So they'll just sign up for an account under the US. You know what I'm saying? Like a US version of the account instead of signing up for where they actually reside and live. And so that ties, you know, and makes it a lot easier when it comes to legalities, because basically the platform doesn't see you no different than they see anybody from the US, because you have a US account. So boop, boop, boop. What do you think? Like, it's too easy. And then they like to run and hide, right? Because they're like, okay, yeah, well, the account is based on the US, but my physical location is in another country. Well, okay. Once you let people know where that is, it's not very hard to look up your laws, your regulations, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And speak to people, because you just never know who somebody knows. A lot of people travel abroad. A lot of people know people in different countries that work in all different types of, you know, fields and stuff of that nature, especially legal. And so it's not very hard to have conversations about what the laws are and the rules and regulations are in your country. You know what I'm saying? Like those things don't stop. There's no barrier there. You know what I'm saying? There's no barrier when it comes to these individuals that are doing these type of things, and they may just happen to reside in a different country, but they think, okay, because they do reside in a different country and they're attacking or harming somebody in, you know, another country, that they won't get into any type of legal issues or legal troubles. And that's so far from true. I don't know who told them that, but it's really unfortunate that you running around with that lie and that narrative. But anyway, let's talk about a little bit of Coco's Law, y'all. Let's learn about it. I talked about it and I read about it on 2 of my past lives, but I figured it's, you know, it's more entertaining if I find a video for y'all than me talking and reading for y'all, you know, my little scroungy voice. So let's go ahead and listen to a little bit of this together, y'all, and I'll meet y'all in the chat.
New additions to existing legislation were introduced in February 2021 as part of the Harassment, Harmful Communication and Related Offences Act 2020, also known as Coco's Law. This law now makes sharing or threatening to share a person's intimate images without their consent a crime. Coco's Law applies if an intimate image of a person is shared shared without their consent by another person with the intent to cause harm, or if the person does not care if harm is caused. Harm can take many forms, but includes anything that interferes with the victim's peace or privacy, or which causes them alarm or distress. You could face a fine, imprisonment, or both if you share an intimate image of another person without their consent, depending on how serious the offence is. Consent is required when sharing intimate images with other people. Consent should be ongoing, mutual, and freely given, with a clear knowledge of the risks, benefits, and alternatives. Coco's Law still applies if a person initially gave their consent for an image to be taken, but the images were later shared without their consent. If you're sent an intimate image of someone else, or sent an unwanted intimate image, don't forward the message to anyone else. Ask the sender to stop, or speak to a trusted adult and report the image. Intimate images or videos can be reported online on hotline.ie or to An Garda Síochána if the images pose an immediate safety concern. It's important that we support victims and do not blame them, as it is never their fault. Parents, teachers, counsellors, and other trusted adults are good sources of support for victims who have had their images shared online. For more information on available supports, visit tacklebullying.ie.
All right, y'all. So that was just a quick little intro. So let me go ahead. And now we're going to play the part 2. Okay. Additional information when it comes to Coco's Law, right? So let me go ahead and get into this video for y'all. And again, these are all quick little clips. You know what I mean? Like, they're not long at all. So it's like 6 minutes here, 2 minutes here, stuff like that. So we can play these real quick. And like I said, after these are over, we'll be ending live. But I just want y'all to hear a little bit of this. Okay, here we go.
The Harassment, Harmful Communications, and Related Offenses Act 2020 was signed into law on 28 December 2020. It has been brought into force by order of the Minister for Justice on 9 February 2021. The Act amends the law relating to harassment, creates new offenses to deal with the non-consensual distribution of intimate images, both online and offline, provides anonymity for the victims of those offenses. Brendan Hallen TD was a leading driver in introducing this law on foot of a campaign from Jackie Fox following the tragic death of her daughter Nicole because of a persistent campaign of online harassment. This legislation was coined Coco's Law in honor of Nicole, understanding our modern world. We are citizens of Ireland, but also in the modern world. We are also global digital citizens, which has no defined borders. Digital citizenship refers to the use of technology by anyone who uses computers, the internet, and digital devices to engage with society on any level, and the responsible use of this technology is our duty. It is imperative we all educate ourselves on this legislation to ensure we do not break the law and to understand we now have protection. What does this law mean? People found guilty of online harassment, bullying, or revenge porn can be fined up to €100,000, can get up to 7 years in prison. Any individual under 17-year-olds can be prosecuted. Key features are communications, harassment, stalking, intimate images, prohibited messages. Communications includes cyberbullying or harassment by speaking, recording audio, writing, visuals. Harassment. How do you define harassment? Harassment is any unwanted behavior, physical or verbal or even suggested, that makes a person feel uncomfortable, humiliated, or mentally distressed. In our digital world, this means if you use any form of technology to follow, watch, or pester another person, or sends unwanted communication with another person, or even communicates with a third person about another person. Stalking. A defendant can be found guilty if the defendant made use of personal information about the victim. The defendant made use of an electronic device or software in order to monitor, observe, listen to, or make a recording of the victim. or his or her movements, activities, and communications without the victim's knowledge and consent. Intimate images. In relation to a person means any visual representation made by any means, including any photographic, film, video, or digital representation of a person's genitals, buttocks, or anal region, and, in the case of a female, her breasts. Revenge porn is now a crime if the person takes, distributes, or publishes an intimate image of another person without consent, or even if the person threatens to do that, or seriously interferes with the peace and privacy of the other person, or causes alarm, distress, or harm by his or her acts. Prohibited messages. The law states that a person is guilty of an offense if they intend to cause alarm, distress, or harm, and they recklessly or persistently distribute or publish a threatening, false, indecent, or obscene message to or about another person. Understanding the law is critical. Laws are created to protect all citizens. Remember, education is key. Together we get better.
All right, y'all. So that was a bit triggering. So I did put up the trigger warning, and now we're gonna get into the last video for the live here, y'all. Because we are approaching the 2-hour mark. I try to keep it at like 2 hours if I can, but y'all know I ramble and I talk too much. But this video is short as well. We're gonna go ahead and get this one up on the screen here. And this just gives us a little bit of an indication about Coco's Law. This is an individual who is named Jackie Fox, and she is speaking about the impacts of Coco's Law. So let's go ahead and listen to that real quick before we end the live. I just want to hear what she got to say. I'm going to meet y'all over in the chat. Let's go ahead and get into it.
I always said to my mum after Nicole died that I was going to make sure that she was never going to be forgotten. For it to be called Coco's Law, it's Nicole's legacy. It's in the Irish statute books forever. She has her own memorandum.
It's an extremely powerful piece of legislation, and I just want to, I suppose, express my gratitude and gratitude of Garda Síochána to Jackie for being here with us today. It's a harrowing story in some ways, but you know, it's inspirational. That Jackie has persevered through the tragedy of the loss of her daughter to essentially be the driving force behind that legislation. It's an extremely powerful tool for us as policemen and women, and also for the community to protect our young people. So,
a lot of people think Coco's Law is the sharing of intimate images and stuff like that. That is in the law, but when I campaigned for the law and it was passed, it was solely because of online harmful communications. And I think with COVID, we didn't highlight that enough, that it was, you know, people picking up a phone and annihilating someone on the phone, or, you know, any type of bullying that made someone feel, you know, whether it was self-harm.
We live in a digital world. Those in this room, some may remember a time when every element of life wasn't captured on social media, but our young people live and breathe that world. They communicate in a digital arena, they learn in a digital arena, and they form their worldview in it. So we have to adapt, and we have to adapt how we keep them safe. And this is what today is about, a collaborative approach towards that.
But I'm delighted to talk to Jackie here today. I know there are amendments coming forward which the government will be accepted in terms of tightening any gaps there may be around Coco's Law. Our focus is on protecting young people, protecting citizens while they're online. For a long time it has been the very dark web, and that's not to say that still does exist. Of course it does. But with the controversy we saw with Grok, we just have to be on top of our game at all times to watch, to give the provision, I suppose, to protect people.
To know that it's getting bigger and bigger, the law's getting bigger, it's helping more people, it's saving more people's lives, and it's fantastic. I know she should be up there going, we hope Jack herself, my mama there, you know.
All right, y'all. So we have reached the 2-hour mark. I did good, y'all. I did good. I was right there at 2 hours. But yeah, so that was the last video for the live that I wanted to show y'all, so you can see, like, these are individuals that actually have said, you know, this law has been beneficial. It has been helpful to them within their local community and their local area. And as we can hear from, I believe, the accents, that these are individuals that do live in Ireland or whatnot. This is a law that is in Ireland, and it's in place, right? And so, it's to help and to protect, individuals, not just when it comes to social media platforms, but also in real everyday life as well. So, I like to bring these type of things to the forefront or whatnot, so we can learn about laws, basically. Because a lot of this stuff that is happening right now, we see it playing out. We have to combat it with legalities. We can combat it and yell and fuss and fight and go back and forth and all of those things, but I think the most pertinent thing for us to do is to take to the law, right? Because there's crimes being committed. And when crimes are being committed, then we need to operate within the law to fight against those said crimes, right? And so, I just wanted to show y'all a little bit of that, mostly for purposes so we can learn and educate ourselves, but also because I don't want anybody to ever take my word for anything, right? Like, we should not do that as people. Like, just listen to what somebody says and believe that to be true. I know and I have the confidence that when I do bring things to the forefront on my platform, that I'm not lying. I know that I've researched it and I've read about it and I am telling the truth. But we live in a day and age where the proof is necessary, right? So I wanted to bring some of those videos up, to present today, so people can see, like, yes, I have spoke about this on my prior two lives, but these are real laws that are in place, right? These are real things and they are beneficial to people, especially the people in those said countries that are dealing with those things, but they also can be applied to individuals in those said countries that feel as though they can hurt and harm people abroad, right? Like, so from said country, you want to hurt and harm people in other countries and think that there are no legal actions that can be taken against you. That is a lie. That is a falsity. And so I just wanted people to understand, like, yeah, we see you, and there's no excuse, right? Because we're living in a time now where we have the internet, where we can research things, where we can read books, we can do all of these things to educate ourselves as far as what is true and what is not, when it comes to legalities and all of these things. And there's a lot of legalities in place and things, that's in place that we can utilize and pull on or lean on when it comes to, a lot of this BS that is being done, amongst these individuals that think that just because they're from another country, they can bully and harass people from other countries and they're untouchable. That is not true. We can learn y'all laws just like y'all probably have learned our laws. You know what I mean? We can learn whatever it is that we desire to learn if we go out and see fit to get said knowledge, right? So I would suggest that these individuals just be careful and, like, tread lightly, like tread real lightly. You know what I mean? Like, when you're trying to harass and abuse and, come for people. No, we there's information out there that we can get. And there's people like me, and I'm not the only one. There's other people as well that are going to be willing to bring this information to the forefront for us all to know and learn, right? So we can understand that, yeah, you don't get away with this nasty work that you're doing and how you're treating people and how you're moving, you know what I'm saying, in this sector. Nah, like, there are things that can be done. There are laws against you for the things that you are doing where you personally are located. So please just stop the nasty words. Stop being a tyrant. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have enough of this going on already in this world, right? And y'all know I live here in the United States. I know some of y'all may live in different countries as well, and I love that. I love that. I love the uniqueness of, like, being on social media. That's one of the things that I thought was great about being on social media, that we can meet up and connect with people all over the world in a good way, right? Not in a way where it's like we gotta fight against you, like you're hateful and you're nasty and you're mean and you want to hurt and harm people. I didn't think that it would be any of that. I thought like, okay, wow, we're all from all over the globe. We all might not have the funds or the means or the opportunity to travel, right, to meet each other in real life, but we can at least connect with each other on the internet. I thought that was beautiful. That was the beautiful part of it all, right? And then it turned to something dark, right? And now it's like we're at war against one another. And I don't know if it's because of we in different countries. I don't know if it's because of we different races. I don't know why these things are happening, right? I can't put my finger on it. I'm gonna get to it, but I can't put my finger on it yet. You know what I'm saying? And right now, but there's so much love, there's so much unity, there's so much good times and good vibrations, that we can have as individuals, despite the fact that we come from different countries. We're all over the big beautiful globe, and we can connect, on these social media platforms, and not necessarily have to punch a passport, to do it. And so that's the beauty of it all that I like to take from it and that I seen in it. I never wanted to fight with people on this platform. I never wanted to, you know what I'm saying, like be evil and nasty work towards anybody on this platform. I only ever wanted to love on people. I only ever wanted to connect with people, learn from people, right? And have like a virtual experience, a virtual travel experience. Because no, I ain't got the funds to be traveling around the world. I wish I could travel the world. I wish I had the funds to do so. I wish I had the time to do so, because I think that's beautiful, right? For us all to meet and connect with each other, no matter where we at, no matter where we live. You know what I'm saying? And with the internet and with, what I'm saying, technology and social media platforms, we're now able to do that, like connect with each other. You know what I'm saying? But I was hoping that the connection would be good connections. I was hoping it would be loving and fun. And, like let's learn recipes and you know what I'm saying? Like let's learn different ways of life. Like we all are different, but y'all know I get winded and I just talk. I don't want to talk y'all to death. But y'all know what I'm saying. I lead with the positivity when it comes to it. And when coming to the platform, and seeing and experiencing that, wow, I'm connecting with people that are all over the globe. You know what I'm saying? All over the world. Some really sweet, great people that I may not have the opportunity to meet in person, but we can make some type of connection online. You know what I mean? And I think that's beautiful. I think that's the point of technology. That's the beauty of technology. That's the good we get from it. Not us having to fight each other and war against each other and hate each other and all of those things. Like I never assumed or thought that those were the things to come. But hey, it happens in regular everyday life. So why wouldn't it not happen online as well? You know what I mean? So that sucks. That sucks is like that. And it has proven to be like that. But look, there are those of us that still believe that goodness, light, kindness, connectivity, and all of those things, are definitely possible, and we still can have them, despite what other bitter, angry individuals want to do and how they move and operate in their lives. We decide. We decide how we move and operate in our own lives and the people we want to be and how we want to show up in places and spaces, right? That's what's important. And we do that. We'll do that. And we'll continue to do that with light and love and care and kindness. And, that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And every now and then you'll come across a bitter, angry person that, it's just nasty work or whatever, and you deal with them accordingly. However, when it comes to the severity of it all, right? Because a lot of the stuff is going beyond like, oh, I just don't like you. Okay. Before it used to be, I don't like you. I just don't F with you. Excuse, I ain't going to cuss. I just don't F with you. I ain't going to go to your channel. I ain't going to be around you. I ain't going to talk to you. Boop, boop, boop. You ain't my cup of tea. all of these type of things. It used to be that was enough, right? And there's no problem with that. Everybody ain't going to rock. Everybody ain't going to get along. That's fine. But then it started getting to where it's like, yo, we don't get along, but also I want to destroy you, tear you down, hate you, and you know what I'm saying? Like make your life hard and terrible. And it's just like, when did we get to that extreme? You know what I mean? Like it just went to like an extreme. And I don't have no problem with, if you don't like me, okay, fine. We don't have to mesh. We don't have to connect. We don't have to do anything. You know what I'm saying? But to go out of your way to destroy somebody, to talk about somebody, to tear somebody down, you know what I mean, to be a nasty piece of work, why did it have to go to that extreme? You know what I mean? Like that's the thing that's always been like kind of weird to me. It's like we can just agree to not like each other and leave each other alone, but to go out of your way to hurt and harm somebody, I don't know where that came from. I can't be sure. I don't know, but we'll look into it. We'll find out. I'll find out because I'll be finding stuff out. But anyway, y'all, that's all I got on this. I'm ranting, and I don't want to continue to rant. I'm gonna go ahead and play a little exit box song, and I will see y'all on the next live. It'll be back to the regular scheduled program and content. Y'all know over here on my channel, I talk about politics probably most of the time, right? I'm trying to add in and incorporate a little bit of celebrity stuff. I used to do like some game nights and stuff like that, some really fun things, so we all can come together and have a good time. And I want to get back into doing that, and I will. I'm regrouping, channel after channel after channel after channel. They keep getting taken from me, but I keep coming back, But it is what it is. It is okay. That is just life. But yeah, we all are so beautiful. We all are unique, and that's what makes us beautiful. And we're dealing with some really tough times right now. Because y'all know, like I said, I report on the politics. I know what's going on, not just in the US government, but even sometimes worldwide. Pay attention to worldwide government as well. And our world right now is like in a really terrible place. Like we're going through a lot. And the fact that we have to combat against that and survive through that, and then also come to a social media platform and fight for our lives as well, it's like, yo, too much. It's too much. It's too much. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I just feel like sometimes it's an overload. So sometimes y'all see me missing because I need to take a break. I need to regroup and I need to recharge because it can be an overload. It can be a real overload. And for everybody who joined my chat or joined the live today, thank you so much. I really just want to tell y'all how much I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. A lot of people, especially like Tanika and stuff like that, like we've been in places before, Star as well. We've been in places before where we haven't made the best decisions and we haven't interacted with each other in a very kind way because we make mistakes as humans. You know what I'm saying? Like and that's something that is guaranteed. We're gonna make mistakes as humans, and sometimes we hurt people. We hurt each other. And one of the things that I don't have a problem doing is apologizing and taking accountability for my actions. You know what I mean? And so I love the fact that things are coming full circle this year, and it's just like people that I may have had a gripe with for stupid reasons, honestly. And it's honestly, this is a whole conversation for another day, but this is what these people want. They want the division between us, and I think a lot of that plays a part in why these things happen, right? We fall out. But even if you fall out with someone, right, or you bump heads, something like that, as a mature adult, you understand that, those things can happen and you apologize, you learn from it, you move forward, you operate differently, right? Because it wasn't your intent, you know what I'm saying, to hate this person or harm this person, It's just sometimes we fall off the wagon and we got to get ourselves back up on it. You know what I mean? But we all are fighting and moving towards, I believe, what is the greater good for this world, for this community, for this platform. And, I think we all on the right track, y'all. We doing all right. We got to pat ourselves on the back. We doing okay. We'll make mistakes. That's to be understood. We're human. We're going to make mistakes. But we're all doing okay, y'all. We're trying to just navigate through this thing the best way we see fit, and it's not always easy. You know what I mean? And so let me go ahead and look at the comments real quick because y'all know I will ramble on, child. Let me close my mouth. Okay, let me go back up here. Back. Okay, let's see. Oh, I gotta go way back. Child, I ain't go that far back. Okay. So, and Kirsty, thank you for coming as well. If I'm saying that right, is it Kirsty or Kirsty? Kirsty or Kirsty? Thank you so much for coming. You say I love going to Magic's chat so we can all have a good time together and have a laugh. Yeah, Maggie is hilarious for real. Maggie is really hilarious. That's why, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was over there on her channel from the very beginning and used to rub her. So I thought Maggie was so cute to me and she was so funny. And I enjoyed my time and stuff with her. And even, like when you fall out with people and stuff, you can always make up. You can always make up. You can move forward. You know what I'm saying? Like even me and Magic, like we may not be like how we used to be, but we not enemies no more. We're not enemies with each other no more. You know what I'm saying? So that's always a possibility. Polo, I met Polo. Polo's a dope person for real. I like watching you. You're hilarious for real, Polo. And so I love going over to Polo channel and watching Polo be cracking me up for real. And I've met some really great people. I'm back rekindle with Star. I'm so happy for that, because it's just been these little small things. And sometimes if you're mature enough and you're adult enough, you can fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can mend it, or you can meet new great people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Tanika as well, and she said like, yo, it ain't even got to be said. It is what it is because we're mature. We get it. But I always will put that out there. I'll take the accountability and I'll make the apologies if I need to. Because, child, sometimes, yeah, I'll be, when I get and I see that red, child, I'll be just windmilling and bucking. You know what I mean? It's the Taurus in me. But I realize when I've taken it too far and I've done and said things that are not nice and not right. And I need to apologize for those things and take accountability for the fact that I did that. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I did do that. And that wasn't right. And people did not deserve that. And so I'm always willing to, do that. I want to. And I think that's how we should be as people. So as we're moving forward in the world, in the community, it's just like, that's what we need to do so we can continue to remain together and not allow things to divide us and tear us apart because we're stronger in numbers. We're stronger together as a group. You know what I mean? Yeah, and Star, yeah, it's just, and I've seen so much nasty work that's just been happening, on the platform, on the internet, stuff like that. It's just, and a lot of times now I'm a Bush person. Y'all can call me Bush girl, whatever you want to call me. I stay in the bushes, but I listen and I watch and I pay attention and I'm just like, oh my God, like it just continues to happen over and over again. And I hate that for us. I really hate that for us as a people because we all have so much to bring to the table. We all are so beautiful and so unique, and I hate that we have to fight and be against each other. That's not where we should be. We should be connected. We should be working together. You know what I mean? As a group, or at least at minimum, just show each other a little bit of love and care. So y'all will see me sliding. Y'all gonna see me sliding, and I'm like, yo, hey, what's up? I'm popping in to say hi, show some love. I think that's what we need to do. That's how it needs to be. And for a good minute, it seemed like we did have a little bit of that going on. And then Somebody infiltrated that, or something infiltrated that. And then, now it's all this fight, fight, fight all the time. But we can't fight, fight, fight all the time. It's not necessary to fight. If anything, we need to band together to fight against the real enemy. You know what I'm saying? Because, child, this world we in some crazy times right now. Star says Golden is a real friend. She's not a backstabber. I can stand 10 toes down on that. She's a good person. Thank you, Star. I appreciate that. And you are that as well. And when all of that stuff was going down, we both as Tauruses, girl, child. And so it was just like we both were seeing red and just saying things and bucking and bucking and bucking. And, I'm glad we had got to a point where we could, admit that, apologize to each other, you know what I mean? And move forward and get back connected, because that's what it's about. That's how you see that you're really a mature person, and a person that is striving towards the light and the love of it all. And same with Tanika, like she's on that same side as well. And so, I really appreciate that. I hope y'all can hear and sense the genuinity in me, because I'm not telling y'all this as a lot. Like, this is really who I am. Like, sometimes even when I fall out with people, child, let me tell y'all a secret. I get emotional, child. I be crying. And, you let these people tell it. They'll drag you for that. Like, oh, boo-hoo-hoo, she always crying. Because I don't like to be in this space. That energy makes me feel uncomfortable. And so I cry, because it's like, this is not an energy I want to rest on me or sit on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be like this to other people. I love people, genuinely. Everybody. Like, I have no reason not to. You know what I'm saying? Until they do something, you know what I'm saying? It's really like nasty work. But, sometimes we can be in predicaments where it's a misunderstanding. We can be in predicaments where we're being manipulated, and pinned against each other and stuff like that. Oh, you was there. Oh, Jesse said, Golden, I was there when you were with Magic. Yeah, me and Magic used to have a good time, I thought, and then, whatever it was. But like I said, all of that stuff is in the past, but we're in a good place now. We're in a good place now. It may not be like how it used to be, but we're in a decent, respectful place with each other. You know what I mean? As women and stuff. And so, I love that. I love that for us. Oh yeah, Star. Me and you as Tauruses, girl. Okay. Now I don't know about all the moons and stuff like that. I don't go that far into it. I just know that I was born in May 7th, and I'm a Taurus. But I like the readings and stuff like that. I learned a little bit more about that, but I don't know all about it. But yeah, I know I'm a Taurus. That's what I know. Tanika said, I went off about you last year. Kiersey said, oh, you're a Taurus too? Oh, Kiersey's a Taurus too. Okay, yeah, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? We all are so more alike than different. Like, for you just never know, like, who somebody is, Polo says, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Exactly, Polo. Exactly. Me too. I'd much rather love on people and just laugh and have a good time and be corny and geeky. Like, I'm really like that. Like, I'm really like a geek. I'm really corny. You know what I mean? I just like to have a good time and laugh and giggle and stuff like that. I don't want to fight. Now, I got fight in me. I know how to fight if I need to. And, every now and then that bull come out. You know what I'm saying? But I don't desire, that's not my resting place. I don't desire to be in that resting place. I want to have fun with people. I want to laugh with people and love on people. You know what I mean? Like, that really is who I am at the core, who I choose to be. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of you are the same way as well. You know what I mean? We're loving people. We want to love. We want to love. We want to laugh. We want to have a good time. We don't want to fight. We can if we need to, but we don't want to. And so, it sucks that every day, you're waking up, you don't know. There may be a war outside your door. And the sad thing about that is more prevalent and true. Not even just on this YouTube platform, but in this world. This is crazy work. But I ain't going to tear y'all down, your emotions and vibes and energies down with all of that right now. I'll talk about that on my other live when I got a report on this daggone stupid ass politics stuff. And that takes a toll on you too, talking about that stuff all the time. So sometimes I'll be having to take a break because I'm like, it's just like dark thing after dark thing after dark thing, negative thing after that, it really takes a toll on you. But it's important for us to know what's going on in our world around us, right? So we can be prepared. But it can be a bit dark sometimes. But anyway, y'all, I'm ranting again. And so let me stop. So we're gonna end it with a bop. And then I will see y'all. Hopefully I will see y'all on the next live. You all are more than welcome to come. You're always welcome here on this channel, on my mama's channel as well. And don't let what these people say, deter you. Like I said, if I have done something, I am able to take accountability for that and apologize. So if I've hurt or harmed someone or been nasty work towards you, because of all this PTSD and mess that be going on here on this platform, this YouTube, I will apologize. I will take accountability. I'm really a sweet, nice person. You all are welcome. I love people. I enjoy having people around me and coming, so we can kick it and have fun together. You know what I'm saying? And just chit chat and just geek out. You know what I mean? So that's really who I am at the core. I'm not this mean, nasty, evil person. I'm really not. But yeah, let me go ahead and end the live, y'all, because y'all know I will rant and rant and rant and rant and rant. But I will see y'all hopefully on the next one. And everybody, I know y'all who have channels and go live, when y'all are live and stuff and doing your content, I will be coming over to support you as well. Because I think that's what we need to do. We need to support each other. We need to lift each other up. You know what I mean? There's enough to go around for all of us. There's no reason for us to, be crabs in the barrel type mentality. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And we all do it in our own way, in our own style. And that's what makes us beautiful and unique, right? Because not one of us is the same. We're all different. We all got different swags. We all got different styles. That's the beauty of it all. But I hope this live was fun a little bit, right? But also informative. There's some things, I just want to bring to the forefront when it comes to information with a lot of this stuff that we see going down in these social media spaces and all of this. And so, I hope it ends. I hope it changes. And then I also hope that even if it don't, that sometimes we can just put on our blinders when it comes to it and kind of focus on more of the important things, right? Because, a lot of this stuff, I guess it trickles down from the top, but we really got a lot of stuff going on in this world right now. Like, I can't believe that I'm 34 years old and I'm actually living during a World War III. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when I was growing up and stuff, I would hear like my grandparents or elders and stuff in my community that served, and they talk about how they served in World War One, they served in World War II, and the Vietnam War and all of these things. And I hate war. I really hate war. I don't understand war. It makes no sense to me. It needs to end. But yeah, like my ancestors, you know what I'm saying, my family members and stuff would say that they were in the service and they served in these wars. And now I'm 34 and it's just like I'm living through World War III. You know what I mean? And I got a little 3-year-old here, and it's just like we're in some really, historical crazy times, like with a lot of serious stuff that's going on that I think demands our attention more than this YouTube fighting and beefs and all these things. But sometimes that can be a lot. So sometimes you need an escape, so you don't want to always hear and listen about all of the stuff that's going on in the politics and the government. I get why it's fun, to sometimes go to channels and just, let your head down and just, gossip and, act crazy or whatever, turn up, boop, boop, boop. That's fine. Because sometimes you need a break from the severity of it all. you know, it's hard to be serious about this stuff all the time because it will drive you nuts. Trust me, y'all. I know because I report on it almost every day. So yeah, it will drive you nuts and it'll affect your emotions, you know, and stuff like that. So sometimes you need an escape, but the escape is supposed to be fun. The escape is supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, to uplift your energy and stuff like that. And now it just seems, you know, like sometimes depending where you go, it's always a beef or an argument or this person doxing, dragging, this, all that. Like we got too many hardships that we really are facing and dealing with in real life. We're coming to the internet for a little bit of fun, a little bit of escape, you know, from the hardship, not trying to run into more hardship. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I will rant to y'all all day long if you let me. But it's 2 hours and 30 minutes, y'all. Let's do this ending song and I will talk to y'all on the next live. Like I said, I love you all. Thank you so much for joining and kicking it and rocking with me this long. I hope y'all have a beautiful rest of your Monday and week. And again, y'all are welcome to come back and kick it with me or Mama Warrior at any given time. So let me go ahead and get up out of here, y'all. Golden out. I'm going to play a song, and I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Bye.
Sickness spreads in whispers, and poison wells decrepit corrupted. But a community with a strong immune system develops its own antidote.
This is the cure. Listen. Listen, there's a venom in the discourse, a toxin in the talk, a parasitic agent feasting on the soul of the block. It spreads through the timeline, infecting the youth, disguising its poison. In the fragment of truth, it preaches self-interest, promotes the individual dream. Anything to fracture the collective, to poison the stream. We see the symptoms in the envy, the distrust that you breed. You planting seeds of chaos, fulfilling the system's need. This ain't about a person, this is about a constitution. You're a weapon of division, a tool of social pollution. Like the agenda's getting bold. Why? Your people have been sold. Jig is up. You're the poison, the cancer, and the cold. You don't fight for the cause, you just lighten the load for the oppressed. My. Hear the conscience, see the fraud. Bye. Your whole damn act's a fraud. You're a symptom of the sickness, a tool of the trade. For every conscience that we take, you pull us from the shade back into the darkness. Fighting sister against brother while you collect the profits, then go poison another. You weaponize our trauma, you monetize our pain. Tell us to tear each other down for your temporary gain. You speak the language of the people with the motives of the state. A sleeper cell of selfishness designed to make us hate. But the body's getting stronger, the fever's starting to break. We can finally see the difference between what's real and what's fake. Like, my, the agenda's getting bold. Why? People have been sold, jig is up. You're the poison, the cancer, and the cold. You don't fight for the cause, you just lighten the load for the soul. My. Yeah, the conscience, see the fraud. Bye. Your whole damn act's a fraud. But the antidote is unity, the cure is in the roots. It's the knowledge of the elders and the fire in the boots of a generation rising that refuses to be bought. Recalling all the lessons that our ancestors taught. We cleanse the foundation, rebuild the immune to make the collective a garden where the real seeds can bloom. You can't poison a forest that shares a single source. We are the uprising, the unstoppable force. This is a conscious rebellion, a surgical strike to separate the healthy cells from the ones you're alike. This is more than a track, it's a call to the core, to protect the foundation of what we're fighting for. So let them have the clout, let them have the fake fame, while we reclaim the power that's attached to our name. Every word is a brick, every verse is a wall, to protect the community and watch the poisoners fall. So let the record show a community divided is a target, a community infected is a tragedy, but a community united is a revolution. In the golden rule, protect the people. My.